Hello there, and welcome again to my YouTube channel, May Fine Art. And today we will make another oil painting session, and this oil painting session will be all about my self-portrait. The reference that I make on this self-portrait was taken back in the year 2014 during my photo shoot pre-wedding in Britannia Island, Philippines. I want to capture the moment where I felt very happy and full of love. So I hope you guys enjoy this oil painting session. So the materials that I use in this oil painting session is of course oil paint. I choose the color white, blue, red, yellow, and yellow ochre. And I also use walnut oil to blend the medium and a heart-shaped canvas. So in this painting, I start tracing my own figure, and also by looking at the reference photo, and I'm just trying my best and see where it will take me, and trying to follow the likeness of the photo reference. I would like to share also why it is important to have a self-portrait. For artists, self-portrait artwork represents the whole artist. In other words, how he sees himself, what he's feeling, and how he wants to be seen by others. It's not necessarily about creating a realistic image of yourself. Instead, it's often an exercise in self-exploration. Some artists' faces are just as recognizable as their artwork. Take Vincent van Gogh, for example. Almost anyone would recognize his starry night, but you'd probably also recognize his self-portrait that features his solemn gaze and flame-red facial hair, and Frida Kahlo's floral crowns and unmistakable eyebrows make her instantly recognizable in her many self-portraits. Since the 15th century, artists have commonly used self-portraits as a form of self-expression. But exactly what is a self-portrait? The simple self-portrait definition is a portrait of an artist created by that artist him or herself. And if you're wondering, portrait definition is art in painting, drawing, photograph, or engraving of a person. But if you ask an artist what is a self-portrait, you'll likely get a more complex answer. For artists like me, self-portrait artwork represents my whole self and what I feel in that moment. Before the 15th century, self-portraiture was found here and there, but it didn't become an established genre until the early Renaissance, when cheap, good mirrors became more widely available. Artists have experimented with painting themselves ever since that first surge in self-portraiture, turning from paint to cameras and later other technologies as they sought to create new and more innovative representation of themselves. So let's talk about the difference between a selfie and a self-portrait. More than 93 million selfies are taken every day, but are selfies the same as self-portraits? Most artists would say there's a difference between the two, although they can overlap. Traditionally, taken at arm's length or in a mirror, selfies are inherently replaceable. If you don't like the image you capture, you can immediately take another. For many artists, true self-portraits are more deliberate and introspective, and they generally take more time and effort to create. However, that's not to say that artists can't use selfies as a self-portrait. An artist can certainly choose a represent for himself or herself through selfies, but generally they are considered two different types of art. And what is the purpose of a self-portrait? The purpose of a self-portrait largely depends on the artist. For some, it's about accessibility. When asked why she photographed herself, a famous late Francisca Woodman said, "It's a matter of convenience, and I am always available." For me, I would also love to take more self-portrait. Anyway, I'm always available. It would also more expensive to hire other people to be a model. So why not be your own model, right? So other famous self-portrait artists got started, at least in part of similar reasons. Some artists said that it is the easiest and cheapest model to deal with, first by looking at your reflection in the mirror and later by taking photos of yourself. For other artists, it may be more about the opportunity to play and experiment with new techniques. When you're alone, you have all the time in the world and can work without deadlines. Still, others use self-portrait art to reshape their sense of self or foster self-acceptance. They want to push themselves emotionally to see themselves in a new light. So what matters is that once you begin making a self-portrait, you won't be able to hide anymore. Self-portraits are all about you, literally. For me, for most of my life, my art has centered around other people or things. I've sketched out landscapes, painted bowls of fruit, and drawn pictures I found on Google Images. Although this has yielded some great work, none of it has been about me. So this self-portrait, on the other hand, is me. Not only can I make it any way I'd like, but I can also pour every negative or positive, whatever emotion I'm feeling into the canvas. With enough effort, the canvas will swallow any feelings, sadness or happiness, or whatever I feel in that moment. In this moment that I try to copy, I'm surely happy and feeling so blissful. There are many self-portrait artists all over the world, and one of them is the famous Frida Kahlo. Frida Kahlo chose to do something that few artists do, that is illustrate herself. And if you look at her paintings, you'll find that they aren't always pretty. They express her pain, her sadness, and her loneliness. So, I really salute this very famous artist. And I also wish that someday I can be able to produce more of self-portrait paintings. So although there's nothing wrong with painting a bowl of fruit or sketching your favorite anime character, there's something to be said for self-portraits. You can't hide in a self-portrait, and there's a surprisingly effective way to express and understand what you're feeling. And self-portraits get to be all about us. We get to control the narrative. Many people, especially those who claim they don't have artistic talent, tend to shy away from depicting themselves. However, you don't need to be the next Frida Kahlo in order to reap the benefits of this activity. Really, the important thing is that you try. If you don't try to paint, you never know that you can paint, right? And you may just be surprised at what you uncover. In the history, there are so many prolific self-artists, and I was looking at them and getting more and more inspired, especially the famous women artists like Elizabeth Vicha Lebron, like Artemisla Gistelesche. So I'm very much inspired. And for those who want to have a portrait painting, you can always contact me and we can talk about it. It would always be nice to have a portrait for yourself. As you grow older, you will always see how pretty you are. And the next generation can also see this lovely portrait painting of yours. So I hope you enjoy this portrait painting in oil, in hard canvas. And don't forget to like, share, comment, and subscribe to my YouTube channel. You can also check my website for more artworks and my latest paintings. So once again, thank you so much for watching this video, and I hope you enjoy.